Does height matter?
Yeah.
But you know a guy can't change his height, right?
You're right, a guy can't change his height. But me, though...
If you're judging guys based off of height, then we got to judge based off of weight. So...
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
What? Right here. For what?
"66% of Black 12th graders do not possess even partial mastery of the most basic 12th grade math skills, such as being able to do arithmetic or read a graph. The number of 12th grade Black students nationally who are proficient or advanced in math is too small to show up statistically. These are huge, huge gaps. According to the ACT, only 3% of Black high school seniors are ready for a STEM degree. What this means is when you go to Google and you say, if you don't have 13% Black engineers, because that's the proportion in the population.
I encourage all women, find you your favorite girlfriend. Find you a girlfriend, introduce her to your boyfriend, and you guys live together. Find the best woman you've ever known in your entire life and tell her, hey, I think we should share this divine king. A lot of women need another woman in their household, but a lot of women don't want to follow in those steps because you know why? It doesn't align with their expectations and their feminist agendas. Monogamy is the only dynamic that promotes narcissism. Women are actually the ones that wanted polygamy in the first place. They wanted polygyny. They chose that for their household. They wanted to help their friends out. They wanted to help mothers and the women across the land. They weren't selfish, insecure. Jealousy and hatred was put onto us. It's not even ours. That's the whole reality of it. So a lot of people need to start unlearning and relearning. Nature's polygamous. You go into the forest right now, every tree, every leaf, every vine depends on another to grow and succeed. Black people are polygamous. We are polygamous. I ain't even here to talk to y'all too long about it because I know what it is. Nature is polygamous. So are you. If men are naturally polygamous, so are you.
The biggest mistake I ever made as a parent, in my opinion, was letting my children go to public school. The second biggest mistake was letting them go to a school at all. The purpose of school is to manufacture employees for businesses. It's not to teach your children to be smart. There's a book that I would recommend highly. It's called Weapons of Mass Instruction by John Taylor Gatto. He was the 5-time Teacher of the Year in New York, in the state of New York, 5-time Teacher of the Year. And he became totally disillusioned when he realized that the purpose of being a school teacher was not to teach math. I think that maybe he taught English or math. He said, I became disillusioned the day I realized my job was not to teach math, but my job was to teach school. Think about it. In school, they teach you that nothing is important. How do they do that? It's the only place that you will ever work in your life where you work on something for 45 or 55 minutes and then a bell rings and you close your book. You don't care about that anymore until tomorrow. It doesn't make any sense. The reason they use bells in schools is because that's what they used on the assembly lines. Lunchtime, ring a bell. Okay, go to lunch. Ring a bell again. You come back from lunch. The whole thing was programmed for a stimulus response. We still tell our children, well, if you want to do well in life, you got to go to college, get a degree. The only reason we tell them that is because that's what we're expected to tell them. We haven't really thought about it.
I need to say this because after what happened the other day, I'm absolutely confident that the most censored content on social media is content that's pro-black. I'm not talking about the Black Lives Matter nonsense. I'm not talking about regular-ass white people need to pay reparations, all that bullshit woke stuff. I'm talking about what's really going on in the black community and what we can do to help them. Anytime I talk about the real history of African Americans, the real things that happened to them and how we fix them today, and all the people that are actually the enemies of black people, anytime I talk about any of that stuff, that is my most censored content. I put out a video 2 times in a row. It was a 10-minute video talking about something the Hodge twins put up that showed a bunch of black people at a fast food restaurant fighting with each other. You know, putting black people in the absolute worst light possible without explaining what's going on in the situation and the larger circumstances that black people and black America is in and has been for several hundred years. So I did a long 10-minute video about Black Wall Street, about the fact that there's a liquor store on every corner in black neighborhoods, about the fact that drugs were intentionally put in those black neighborhoods by the U.S. government, and a bunch of other things. I posted a video without any sounds attached. By the way, every time I post a video now, it says no sound or no music at the top. That's a sound clip that when I post a video and they don't like what I have to say, they'll just remove the sound from the library, you know, maybe 2 weeks down the road. Then they remove my voice too, saying the sound had to be removed, so they had to mute my video. Guess what happened with the video on black people? I exited out of that. There was no music, no sound. As soon as the video posted, the sound was removed from the video and you couldn't hear what I was saying. And usually, if the sound gets removed, I at least get the auto captions on the bottom. No auto captions, so you don't even know what I said. This happens all the time whenever I talk about black folks in a positive way that talks about helping them and pay reasonable reparations. What does that mean? Pulling their communities out of the poverty that the government put them in. That's legitimate reparations for black people. And now I'm realizing every time, whether I talk about black people being a tribe of Israel, a true Hebrew Israelite tribe, whether I talk about the fact that Don Lemon hates you and wants to destroy you no matter how much he pretends to like black people, no matter how many times I talk about how there was a Black Lives Matter before Black Lives Matter that was actually trying to raise money to help impoverished communities, and then he got defunded and his brand was stolen from him and given to those crazy communists so they could get black people to just be angry and break stuff. But whenever I talk about good stuff that would actually uplift that community, it's completely censored. More than the Palestinian stuff, more than anything, I've never had so much trouble talking about something than when I talk about black folks.
If you record, you can record and report it to anybody. I can do whatever the fuck I want. They call me Beast Betty. Oh, Beast Betty if you nasty.
Lord, 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 nothing I did, nothing I tried, nothing I smoked, nothing I snorted, nothing I drank, no man I did, no one did me, nothing did me any good. Oh Lord, even that food, the food I put in my mouth wouldn't help me, Lord.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I can't complain. My name Joshua Takim, but you might as well call me Norbit because I found my Respucia.
Ooh, Respucia. Oh, no. Hold on.
And I don't mean that with no disrespect.
Okay, because he like, how tall you is?
6'5".
6'5"?
Yeah.
He can go to the next round.
All right.
You can go to the next round. Don't you go nowhere. And I'm the bounciest, bitch.
Everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
Time to tap in now.
Everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
Time you to tap in now.
Everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
Time to tap in now. You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.
My mind right, money right, yeah. Ready for war, nigga, we ready for y'all.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
Let me see those hands in the air.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
I project myself outside of myself when I talk to myself when I'm speaking.
Peace, man. Peace to the daily energy reading. Peace. Where my baby mamas at? Where my baby daddies at? Where my side bitches at? Where my polygamous woman at? My polygynist. What's up with the ladies that got 2 or more husbands? Can we get a 1 in the chat? The last time I checked, love was free. So all of y'all celebrating in free love, getting STDs and things of that nature, man, round of applause. Oh, yeah. I don't know how you do it, but you do it, and I appreciate you for it. It just couldn't be me, man. Let's get into this conversation. Man, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? One's in the chat, thumbs up, something of that, things of that nature. If y'all can hear me fine, if it's not muted, things of that nature, man. Like the video, like Tasha Max said, man, hit them thumbs up, like the video. But man, we're here to talk about something very, very important, man. This is summoning your holy guardian angel. When we study astrology, we're studying time and space and the best times to do things. We are in a waxing moon, fresh off a new moon, and things are growing, things are integrating, things are coming into culmination, into fruition. So, with all of that being said, we're going to talk about a ritual and how to summon your holy guardian angel, right? This is the part of you that has the direction, the part of you that knows what you should be doing in reference to your conscious mind, which is trying to figure out where the fuck your baby daddy at. Where he at? Come help me with these goddamn kids type shit. I feel you. I feel you on that. But instead of searching for your baby dad, how about you start to search for your higher self? But man, let's get into the conversation. Let's get into the conversation. Where are we going to take this conversation first? We're going to take it to the chart, of course. So let me just find the right the right the right page, which is not that. Let me bring it into focus. Today is Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Mercury Day, and we want to look at the transits affecting Mercury at its highest. So the highest transit that we want to look at is Mercury Square Uranus, but it's also, if we can look, it is trining Mars. So understanding and overstanding how you can utilize your mind and action to get things going is how you can utilize that transit. But the main focus of this conversation would be the square to Uranus. And so how are we looking at this thing? We're looking at this from a multitude of perspective. We're looking at it from our lower self and our higher self, our conscious mind and our higher conscious mind, our highest elevated thought. So Mercury and Uranus, they are octaves of one another. So it's like if you're playing a piano, if I hit an E in a lower octave and I hit an E in a higher, they are the same sounds, but different frequencies. So the lower E would be like dum, and then the higher E would be like ding, but it's the same note. But it's not that far off. When we talk about planets, the 7 classical planets, guess what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking about the 7 classical notes, right? And the chords and the keyboard, all of it is all one thing. So there are 7 classical planets, but there's also 7 main musical notes. That's not by coincidence, meaning the sounds and the frequencies, guess where they come from, ladies and gentlemen? They come from the planets. Did you know that? You probably didn't know that. See, people just think like this world is just this random occurrence of energies, but no, this is actually a universe. A universe is one song, and every sound that you hear is a form of creation. Because you could also say sound creates everything. What does sound create? Right? What does sound create? Sound is a form of energy that creates sound waves when objects vibrates. Sound waves are a series of molecular collisions that travel through medium such as air, water, or solids and cause a sensation of hearing in our ears, right? But also, if sound can travel through air, through water, and through solids, what is also telling you, without telling you, is that it is the sound that creates it. It is the sound that creates everything around us, everything that and this is magic, this is creation, this is like a whole different level, but it can resort back to a simple thing of saying, man, I'm broke as shit. Once in the chat, if you ever just said, man, I ain't got no money. Y'all ever said that before? One's in the chat if you ever said, man, I'ma whoop your motherfucking ass. And then one's in the chat if you started to see that, you started seeing you put hands on a motherfucker, boom, 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 or I'm gonna get me a new house. That house wasn't there till you said, I'm going to start filling out applications. Now, sound waves, mental projections, same thing. When you think things, you think things, Mercury trine Mars, when you think things and you act in accordance with your thoughts, you begin to create that in real life. Now, the thing that's going to hold you back would be the square to Uranus, because squares in astrology are negative. Negative because there usually isn't talked about in the form of solution. But I thought that this was an interesting aspect based upon the relationship between Mercury and Uranus. If Mercury and Uranus are in a negative aspect, that's like that could be resolved based on that they're like close to each other. They're formidable. They seem like they don't go together, but when you put them together, you're like, I never thought about this. So a way that the image that comes to mind, Mercury and Leo, Uranus and Taurus, is a small furnace, right? A small furnace is really a genius idea. And it seems as though like earth and fire don't go together. Like if I set my house on fire, that's not good. That's not good. But if I have a furnace inside of my house, that's amazing because it get cold. It's literally a song called "It's So Cold in the D." Y'all ever heard that song? It's so cold in the D. How is we supposed to eat? Google it, right? It's so cold in the D. So if it wasn't for a furnace, if somebody didn't figure out how to channel that primal fire, then we wouldn't even have heat in our house. So even though fire and earth, they don't seem to get along, there could be a way that could unite these things that seem like they're negative. So another way that we explain this is through challenges. Most of us want an easy life. Most of us want a simple and easy life. Therefore, challenges are signals of defeat. But that's not necessarily the case. Challenges are signals for strength. Challenges are ways that we get better. If you could face your challenge, if you could go toe to toe, eye to eye with your challenge, defeat and win against your challenge, then that's not a bad thing. To overcome a challenge is exhilarating. So when we are in the space of Mercury and fire and Uranus and earth, that is, how do I create a furnace for this energy that's going on in my life? A lot of it moves into remo- removing distractions. A lot of it goes into, you know, doing what you need to do, like actually knowing what it is that you should be doing in life. And that's what this challenge is. Because Mercury in Leo says, I like this boy, or I like this job, I like this city, I want this thing. And Mercury deals with the conscious mind. The conscious mind, I don't know if Rod's listening, but I just give him an example because it's coming off the head. The conscious mind is saying I gotta work 18, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? But Uranus is saying that's cool, but we need to meditate. We need, your higher self is saying we are in Taurus. We are in the space of manifesting a new life for you. Like, we are in a space of creating a whole new direction. Can you separate the conscious mind from the higher self? The deeper conversation is, have you contacted or summoned or worked with your higher self in a real way? Have you done a ritual? Have you done a seance? Have you done a spiritual act that has got in contact with your higher self? The mind that says that this boy is cute and I need to be with him is the lower mind. The mind that says I don't got enough money to support my kids is the lower mind. So whatever challenges that you're facing with this Leo energy, this strife energy, like the first deacon where Mercury is at is mental strife. That's a lot of primal energy rising to the surface, and it's a million and one things that you want to do. And Uranus is like, you can only do one thing. You can only do the one thing that is good for you. You can only do the one thing that is great for you. And that's a challenge. That's a square. That's a difficult thing to be able to process, right? The fives, both energies are in the first deacons of their respective constellations. The fives, the first deacon of Taurus is the five of discs. The first deacon of Leo is the five of wands. This is struggle energy. This is not even struggle. This is effort, because it's a big difference between effort and struggle. Effort is the work that you're doing that's going to accomplish a goal. Struggle is just negative emotions, and you're doing something that's not going to equate to nothing. So the energy that you spend struggling, it equates to zero. So if you're struggling at something, stop struggling, right? You're not supposed to struggle. You're not supposed to struggle. You could put effort. You got to know the difference between effort, and effort could be negative, but struggle within itself is negative, net negative. Effort is negative, net positive. So Mercury and Uranus are in struggle positions, and they have a struggle aspect. Part of this is the tunnel vision that spirit is putting on you. You, like, a way to understand this, you lose your keys. You can't find your keys. The struggle is looking for your keys. The effort is in realizing that, one, you'll find your keys eventually, and two, why can't I find my keys? Why can't I find my keys? Or why am I struggling doing this thing? Because you shouldn't be doing it, right? When you lose your keys, proverbially lose your keys, it's a reason. That's Uranus. Everything that you experiencing is a reason. Maybe you've caused it by you're not understanding that you do have a holy guardian angel. Uranus represents that holy guardian angel that is entering into a realm of real serious wealth creation. This is an opportunity. When we talk about opportunities, many people miss out on the opportunity because they're too fixated on the lower self, in the lower mind. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't have enough resources. I don't know enough people. I'm a loner. I'm an introvert. I live in the projects. My baby daddy ain't shit. I got a baby. I'm single. I don't got, that's all lower mind shit. And when you look at Mercury and Leo is in essence sex, sexual energy. Now, sexual energy, like, man, for the average 30-plus-year-old melanated person, that sexual energy have been depleted. So now, in your concept of sex, depleted. Like, if I went up to the average 30-year-old girl, if it's any girls in this chat over 30, and the first thing I say to you is like, baby, let's go have some sex. One's in the chat if the answer is no. Right? One's in the chat if the answer is no. If a guy come up to you and all they do is talk about sex, ain't that a big turnoff? That's a big turnoff. Right? But even if you was in your 20s and it sounded like a great idea, he was super sexy, it was still a bad fucking idea. The lower energy of sex is not good, but sex within itself is amazing. But the energy, it scales up based upon your consciousness. That's Leo. Leo is basic energy for all of us. We've all entered the planet off of Leo energy, sexual energy. It was necessary, but that same up and down sex created a life. That life could become a nurse, become a doctor, become a healer, become a psychic. All of these particular things off of some raw up and down missionary sex in the back of a Lincoln Continental. Yet at the same time, the higher echelon of sex is Kundalini meditation energy. But if you weren't taught that and you said, I'm going to utilize my sexual energy for up and down sex, missionary sex, by the time you get 30, you hate sex. You hate a nigga talking about sex. If I'm just, interested in you sexually, oh no, nigga, I don't want no nigga talking about sex. That sex turned me off. I don't want to be with nobody that have sex. That is like and I agree. You shouldn't deal with guys that only want to have sex with you, but sex is a hot topic, Sex is a powerful energy, and Black people, we do not know how to utilize sexual energy for spiritual purposes. We only know how to use sex for deviant purposes, sneaky link purposes, sex in the back of a Lincoln Continental purposes. We don't want to utilize it for raising Kundalini and figuring out who we are. Now, depending on your perspective, right, this could be a powerful time to begin to utilize that sexual energy for its true purpose, ritual. Now, what do you mean, Kyrie? Sex, true purpose is ritual. Do you know that sex is a ritual? Even the most benign, basic, like fucking on the porch so don't nobody hear you weird shit in the middle of the night, that is a ritual. Every time you have sex, that is a magical act. If you do not create a child, you create an ethereal thought form. That ethereal thought form goes on to exist and possess other people in life. The ways for which sexual energy permeates a neighborhood, you can see it in full 3D vision when you go to the hood. When you go to the hood, you're seeing a bunch of people having wayward sex. That's my boyfriend. That's my girlfriend. That's my baby mama. That's my baby daddy. Only 25% of the people in the neighborhood are married. 75% of the population are just having sex. And that's what it looks like. When you go to a upper echelon neighborhood, what are you going to see? You're not going to see, I don't care what you say, how you say it, whatever you live, you're never going to see a place where people is just having sex willy-nilly, but they're living to their highest standard. Because sex at this lowest level, it depletes you. I don't even care if you married. When you don't understand Kundalini, when you don't understand ritual, you married to a nigga that is pumping you up and down, up and down. You know how many women hate having sex with their wives? I mean, how many women hate having sex with their husbands? I mean, hate. You understand me? Fucking hate it, right? Cannot stand having sex with their husbands, because when you are in a relationship with a woman and all you want to do is have sex with her, at the lowest of keys, you don't want to build with her, you don't want to create with her, you don't see the goddess in her, you don't want to cultivate that jewel within her, and all you want to do is put her in a hucklebuck and slam your meat up into her. Sooner or later, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, she checks out. And you like the nigga like, man, I pay the bills, I support, I work, I do this, and my wife won't give me no pussy. Because niggas hate astrology. Y'all need to clock that T. I mean, the study of constellations and how they relate to the human body. Niggas hate it. Y'all really need to clock that T. Because a nigga, a man, a boy, a guy, a male is only going to be at the lower level of teth. He is only going to be at the lower level of sex unless he understands the power of ritual, meditation, and spiritual energy. So this could be one of the most miraculous times in your life, but let like a man sitting back, like really wanting a girl though. What do you want a girl for? So he can have sex with her. And man, these niggas is so fucking psychotic when it comes to lying to you about how he feel about you, because he can't have no real way to connect to himself. Because when we're creating ourselves, Aries creates the mind, Taurus creates the personality, you know, Gemini creates the ability to connect to the higher self, Cancer, the emotional intelligence, Leo, the sexual intelligence. It stops there. It stops there. It's grown ass 55-year-old men. They ain't going to do nothing but pull their dick out faster than a young nigga. Y'all need to clock the T, because y'all will never get it. Y'all will never get it dealing with men, going on dates with men, and them buying you shit. It's all demonic possession at the end of the day. Because if you cannot sit with the energy, see the energy, feel the energy, recognize the energy, then it just becomes, you know, I got pregnant, that's my man, we together, but we not connected at all. If you don't find it within yourself, you're not able to connect to another person at that level. And really, it's the level of consciousness, it's the level of understanding. Like y'all gotta really sit back and really think about how many girls just want to be in a relationship with a guy but don't connect to their sexual energy. They don't connect to their Queen of Wands. Right? The Queen of Wands, like, women are dominant in the areas of sex. For real, a woman wants sex when it's cultivated and nurtured and brought out of her. When your feminine energy is cultivated and identified, when a man sees you, not your body, not your vessel, when he sees your spirit, when he sees your Leo, when he sees your lust, when he sees your strength, all that pussy is that's just a normal part of the relationship. That pussy like breathing. It's like breathing, but you gotta really find it within yourself. You gotta find that power within yourself. It's so many people that got kids, done been in relationships, and never fully synced they sexual power. Never fully realized it or actualized it. So Mercury, which represents the sperm, which represents the consciousness of the body. The body is very smart. Like from a sperm, it developed itself to a full body, a full mind, a soul, you know, nerves, all of these particular things. Mercury, our consciousness, like what are you thinking about, right? How are you processing the world? What do you want? What are you working towards? And then, a well-established person will have all of those answers, right? But then Uranus square, is that the right thing that you should be doing? You might have a whole list of shit of what you got lined up or what you see for yourself. But is that the right thing? That's the question. And so this is the shadow work. This is the ritual. This is the inner and understanding of how many people is working in reference to the degree that they got in college. I wonder if it's this if it's a blah, 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 statistic for that. How many people work in the career they graduated with? I don't even know. Are you working in your major? That's how many people work in their major. I want to just get some statistics. According to different sources, between 27% and 47% of college graduates work in a job related to their major. So that means the majority of people that go to college, get a degree, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and none of that was what they ended up doing with the career. This is Uranus square Mercury if we were to just lay out an ideology for human beings. People, you went to school, you was like, I'm gonna get a degree in liberal arts, and then I'm gonna be a museum curator. Filling out applications for museum curator. How much experience do you have? Oh, I just got out of school. We looking for somebody with at least 10 years of experience. I mean, every museum in the city have that criteria. Then your logic start logicking. If nobody will hire me, only if I got 10 years experience, how am I going to get the experience? Okay, if there's 100 jobs in the city opening up every year, but every year people graduate with liberal arts degrees, it's 10,000 people looking for 100 jobs. This would be a good major for me. I mean, shit, this would be something that I need to do. Wrong answer. It's easy to think that what you're doing now is what you should be doing. However, spirit or the influences of the planets that influence you, okay? So let's just pair this. The influence might want you to re-examine the direction of your sexual spiritual energy. Because the Uranus, which is a higher octave, is like literally saying that. It's like literally saying that might not be the right thing. You might want to be a little bit observant of what's happening on the external before you act. If I see a bunch of niggas fighting, if you seen 5 people fighting and they was having a World War III, would you walk towards it, or would you just, cut your camera on and just see what's happening? You in your car, or you on your fifth floor building, you looking down at a bunch of niggas fighting. Do you say, let me go down there and break up the fight? Or do you just record it and post it on Twitter to see if you can go viral? I mean, that's just what I would do. That's just what I would do. You could particularly go down there and fight and go in there and get in the middle of a fight with 5 grown men. But that's what Mercury in the 5 of Wands is saying. Look at these niggas fighting. I don't got to be in that fight. I don't have to be in that conflict. I need to sit back, observe what's happening, and figure out what's the best move for me. If you know what that best move is, try Mars, act towards it. But Mars in this first decan of Gemini is a lot of familiar pressure, right? It's a lot of trying to be what your family wants you to be. So during this particular time, if there are any men in the chat, are y'all feeling the pressure? Ones in the chat. All my niggas, stand up. If y'all feeling the pressure, ones in the chat. If it's easy peasy, put a 2 in the chat. If everything is how it's supposed to be and you ain't feeling no pressure, no challenges from the external, put a 2 in the chat. But if you feeling the pressure and it's time to get on with the get on and you trying to figure it all out, put a 1 in the chat. Because, nigga, I feel the pressure. And if you don't feel the pressure and you got the formula and the frequency, nigga, share that shit. Don't be watching my videos. I should be watching your fucking videos. But it's okay to feel the pressure. It's okay to deal with the challenge. At the same time, you got to kind of bear witness that Mars is in Gemini, and that just kind of requires you to do some real life shadow work. That, like, Mars is in Gemini, bro. So it's like you got a good month and a half of, mental mental work, mental action. That's why I've been doing the worksheets, and if don't nobody download the worksheets, my ass going to do the worksheets because Mars is in Gemini, which then leads to the embodiment of what work have you been doing? What intentional work have you been doing? Like, can you afford a therapist at this point in time when the pressure gets on? If you can afford it, man, drop $400 an hour. But if you can't afford it, nigga, you gotta do shadow work. You gotta do some journaling. You gotta clear your mind. You gotta check in with yourself. You the man. And when the pressure come, you ain't got nobody to turn to. And then you gonna feel the pressure, not do shadow work. Okay, wait a second. Wait, you not going to journal? Real men don't journal, hood. Real men get factory jobs. Real men get second jobs, hood. We don't journal. Real men work at Amazon, hood. We don't journal. Your mental health is so important as a black man. And if you do not get on top of that horse, Gemini, what entity energy is associated with Gemini, Aries, twin energy, Ashwini, horses. You gotta ride that horse. A horse can fuck your ass up. You know what took Superman out? A horse. Damn, Clark Kent. Superman, Kal-El. Y'all ain't see that episode of Full House? One's in the chat if y'all seen that episode of Full House. Horses ain't shit to play with. You gotta be mentally upper body strength, lower body strength. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn how to ride that horse. That horse is your mind. This is challenging times. However, if you're acting in accordance with your higher self, the challenges is overridden. So that's why I'm having this conversation. Back to the concept of octaves. I want to bring that into the conversation because that was the download that I was getting when I was looking at Uranus square Mercury. Uranus and Mercury are alike, right? there are 7 classical planets. Let's just start there. 7 classical planets. Those 7 classical planets are Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, right? However, there are more planets in our solar system. Now, Sun is not a planet. The Moon is not a planet in this sense. The Sun is the center of our galaxy. The Moon is a satellite to our planet. Therefore, that leaves Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Well, Jupiter and Saturn are very big planets. Those are old suns. Jupiter and Saturn are dead suns that have reduced their role in the solar system. It was once a point in time where Jupiter or Zeus was the sun. There was once a point in time where Saturn or Set was the sun. These are just reduced roles. But then when it comes to Mercury, Venus, and Mars, these are lower octaves of base planets. The higher octave of Mercury is Uranus. The higher octave of Venus is Neptune. The higher octave of Pluto is, or I'm sorry, the higher octave of Mars is Pluto. So when you look at the relationship between Mercury and Uranus, this is the lower mind. Uranus is the higher mind. Okay. So back to this. Uranus is the ruler of the 11th house. So whenever you deal with Uranus, you're dealing with the 11th house. You're dealing with you in the world. A lot of people want to hide from the world. A lot of people cannot handle the pressure of the world. But once again, we're dealing with Uranus and we're dealing with Aquarius. The reason why we say that Uranus and Aquarius deal with the world and showing up because it's opposed Leo. So Leo and Uranus, they represent the same kind of energy, just the opposites. In order to show up for your collective, what do you have to do? It might seem obvious, but most people don't want to do it. You have to show up, Leo. So Mercury is like, there are 20 different ways I can show up, right? The first deacon. Whatever way that I show up, I'll experience some form of victory, some form of Valerie. But the square comes in the right nick of time because it's like, nigga, make a choice. But then it's like, well, what should I do? Uranus rules Aquarius. So how can you show up for your collective? I've seen people who don't have social media followings, who don't have no subscribers, who don't have any presence or nothing, but decided, man, I'm gonna show up for the collective in the best way that I know how. And I've seen them grow exponentially. Uranus is your soul tribe. Uranus is the mind that connects you to others. Okay. So therefore, niggas will be like, all right, I'm gonna focus on gardening. I'm gonna focus on cleaning my room. I'm gonna focus on getting me a new car. I'm gonna focus on something that is personal to me. That puts pressure and tension on the square, right? So right now you're like, oh, I want to focus on this personal thing for me. And it's like, for you is a lower frequency concept. You and us are one. It is a universe. We are all in this shit together. We are all in this space and time together. And I know you may not know. That is cool. That's why the square is presented to you so you can figure it out. So you can start to know what direction should you take your life. And then it shouldn't be, all right, I'm going to do this for me. For me, at a lower level, you, Mercury, you always going to be you. But at a higher octave, you is also connected to me, right? We are in this shit together. And the quicker you figure that out, the more that you then say, okay, let me show up for others. It's in the chart in other ways. The sun opposed Saturn in Aquarius too. It's the same kind of energy. How can you show up for others? And there have been times in life where Saturn wasn't in Aquarius. So the pressure or the limitations wasn't even there, so you could focus on yourself. You could go on trips by yourself, get all the DAC you wanted to get, all the cooter cat you wanted to get. But then when things change, that's why I want to talk up. That's why I like talking about astrology, because I like talking about time and space. Things change based upon the movements of the planets. Energy changes, our world changes, our earth changes based upon time and space. And the real is that you need to begin to study it more as time goes on. So the more you study astrology, the more that you can adapt to those changes and be prepared. We do not live in a chaotic, random world. It just seems like that. The more that you study astrology, you say, oh, this is a good time to set an intention. This is a good time to do a ritual. And a lot of people say, well, when can I do a ritual? When can I do set my intentions? And the novice will say, whenever you want, right? But that would be like saying that store is on Main Street. I can go to that store anytime I want to and stand out in front of it. That's a fact. That's a truth. But if it's at 12 o'clock in the morning and it closed at 6, I won't be able to buy nothing out of that store. So if I told you, hey, you can do a ritual whenever you want, that is true. You can go through all of the ritualistic movements and steps, but you wouldn't be able to get nothing out the store because you don't really understand and overstand astrology as a mode of predicting the timing. The timing is so important. If you feel like the timing isn't important, just run through red lights. If you run through red lights, that will create accidents. When you look at your life in a melanated person's life, that most of us is not up on this science. Most of this shit is like, all right, let me study astrology so I can get some pussy. Let me study astrology so I can understand my personality or whatever the case may be, do some readings, make some money, whatever. But I'm trying to study this shit like I was having a conversation about knowledge and education. I can hear when people talk about astrology and they may have like learned a year ago, 6 months ago, and they're like referencing the information that they learned 6 months ago, a year ago. That information is not valid. You have to learn and study daily. As I was studying Uranus and Mercury, I was relearning and getting deeper learning on the subjects, on the topics. Now, when you study astrology, it's going to help you. It's going to help you to understand your conscious mind and your oversoul. That's going to help you. If you do not understand that you have a guardian angel that's here to guide you and help you in the mode of just mental clarity, then you would say, I can just do whatever I want to do. And every day people crash out from doing whatever it is that they want to do. Every single day. The pressure that you feel in your life, the tension that you feel in your life is based on the idea that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. I see it in women's appearance. I see it in men's behavior. The root cause to all suffering is the idea that you are free. Not even your soul is free. Your soul is bound, is a prisoner to your body. Every day you wake up as Charmaine Jenkins. You never wake up as somebody else. In order to change your body, in order to change your mind, you have to begin to engage. Most grown adult people don't even engage because they traumatize in a mode of survival. Most people, they're not going to ask, do you exercise and meditate regularly? The first time you meet somebody, they're going to ask you, what do you do for work? Where do you work at? What kind of job do you have? But the irony is if you exercise and meditate it regularly, you would not, I mean, not to say that you wouldn't have to have a job or make money, but you would understand that I am divinely guided. Most people do not understand and fully agree with themselves that they are divinely guided by their holy guardian angel. Right? Most people are relying on their wits, on their mind. So a square is going to trigger that. It's going to bring all of that shit up to the surface. You thought you were supposed to work at this job and you knew it was a dead end job. All right, we about to give you hell. You with this nigga and you know this nigga don't give a fuck about nothing but getting that pussy about you. We about to give you some more drama. We about to who is this calling? This is baby mama. Is you fucking Tyrell? Is you fucking Tyrell? Here we go. Woman to woman, I just feel like one's in the chat. Woman to woman, I just feel like me and you could have just had a conversation about it. You can't just be sleeping with my man behind my back. Woman to woman. And you feel like, all right, in your conscious mind, you was like, yeah, it's good for me to go fucking on this nigga behind his girl's back. I know he got a girl. I know his girl don't know, right? But I'm going to do it anyway because shit, I'm lonely. Mercury Square Uranus is going to bring all of that shit on the table. Like, remember that time you said you was lonely and you did that wrong thing? Now it's about to disrupt your nervous system with somebody coming to your job, right? It's like, who the fuck is in here talking fucking Tyrell? You know, a decision to say, all right, I'm going to just get me 2 jobs, right? I don't got enough money. I need 2 jobs. You know, it's nothing worse than being broke as hell when you got 2 jobs. Whoever worked 2 jobs only to be broker than when you was working? I don't know how the mathematics work, but trust me, if I knew algebra or trigonometry, I'm sure I would come up with a formula that says the more I work, the broker I am. The more I work, was in the chat if you ever worked 2 jobs and was broke as hell, trying to figure it out. Like, how the hell do I not have time to myself? I'm always at work, but I'm trying to figure out I need $200 to pay this bill. And I don't get paid for my second job till next week. And I don't get paid for my first job until 2 weeks. Shit. And I don't even got no money for gas. I got 2 jobs. And then this where a nigga get real crafty. I'm gonna just go to the payday loans because shit, I make enough money, right? I make enough money. I make enough money. Uranus. So Mercury is, let's deal with this. If we dealing with cash money, right? We talking about money. So we got to go through the etymology to break this barrier down. Because all of this relates to you living a good life. Right? That's all we talking about. Mercury. The Roman god Mercury. Mercurius. Originally, the god tradesmen and thieves. Translated from merc, which means merchandise. See, market. Okay? Mercs, market, Mercury, market, tradesman. What's tradesman? Buy low, sell high. Once again, do you have to have a college degree to buy low or say high? Yes or no in the chat. Do you have to have a college degree to buy low or sell high? Yes or no? Do you have to have a high school degree to buy low or sell high? Yes or no? Do you have to be married to buy low or sell high? Can you be white or black to buy low or sell high? Is there any boundary to you buying low and selling high? So a person will say, I got to get a job. I got to go to school. I got to get a degree because I need to make money. And then you will work 2 jobs and be broke. That math does not math. What is profit? Profit is buying low, selling high. There is no barrier or boundary to a nigga. Like, you can work your job right now and still buy low and sell high and figure it out. Now, once again, Mercury is a lower octave of Uranus. Uranus rules the 11th house, right? Mercury rules the 3rd and 8th houses. Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury rules Virgo. However, when we talk about the 11th house, that is the community, that is high level trade, right? That is knowing what to buy. That's like praying to Mercury, like, please help me. Uranus is, this is what you need to do, right? This is where you need to go. And people gonna make this shit very hard, very difficult, but y'all niggas buy shit every day. One's in the chat. Every day you buy something. You get gas, get clothes, get food. The food, you buy loud, you buy Percocets, you're buying something. So if you're buying something every day, why can't you sell something every day? Why don't you buy what you sell? Right? Why won't you sell what you buy, rather? I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, and that's a square. I know if you never did it before, I know it's hard. Listen, Mercury Square Uranus, the biggest problem with people is that people feel like they can't utilize me as a resource. I've done this shit, and I love to share. I love to see people. The reason that I do videos is to see people do better. I never entertain. I never, I'm really like getting to the psychology of it, so, or the deeper undercurrents, so you can like figure it out. And I'm saying, I know that it's difficult, but I didn't even have me to rely on, not as an egotistical way, but shit, it could, not saying that would be easier for you, because we all have our challenges, but shit, when it comes to buying low and selling high, let's work. Let's work. What are you passionate about? Not even what you passionate about. Shit, you don't got to be passionate about socks. You don't got to be passionate about wash rags. You don't need to be passionate about cleaning bathrooms. But you can make a fortune cleaning that shit. Nobody said I dream about cleaning out shit from a bathroom and cleaning piss behind toilets. But the person that Uranus put them in the right place where your cousin owned a cleaning service, and you like, cuz, what's up with the cleaning service, man? I just need help. I need somebody that's going to invest. I just need extra workers. That's Uranus square Mercury. And usually when it comes to, I think the square will also be like looking outside. If you look at Sun opposed Saturn, it's like looking outside of yourself fervently for a solution. And God is like, nigga, I'm going to make sure that you know without a shadow of a doubt that the solution is going to come from within your whole ass. Stop looking outside of yourself. Understand that you can do it. Believe in yourself. Trust in yourself. Know that you have a guardian holy angel, right? It's Wednesday. It's Mercury Day. A good book that gets into this, I'll just put it out. It's a hard book to read, but at the same time, it's a rewarding book to read. This is a book you definitely got to read with a dictionary, and you got to like really reflect and meditate. But Money Magic, right? Like I said, this is all shit that helps. It's Wednesday. It's Mercury Day. And Money Magic, you can take my word for it or take his word for it. Or, we talking about time and place. We talking about Mercury. We talking about Uranus. And we talking about having a breakthrough. Some form of ritual tonight. It'll be perfect, or next Wednesday. Or September 7th, where the square gets to be exact, right? But in this book, if you're able to read through this book, it gets into all types of ritual. and working with Mercury. And then a person will say, man, I don't got no money, hood. I'm out here fucked up. I need some help financially. If you don't understand and understand that that shit is within you and it comes out of like doing rituals. And once again, man, don't take my work. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. You know, I've been did an article on this transit. Let me just sign in real quick. Oh, y'all cheesing right now. Cheesing. Link is in the description for the article. Everybody looking restless, and I got to work out before that motherfucker close. So, just want to let y'all know the article link is in the description. But I wanted to show y'all because y'all might miss it. It's a hyperlink where it's like I get into the best advice for this transit is to consult your heart holy guardian angel. And this is a paid article. It will be released on September 7th for free. But I just wanted to give the people who paid for the Substack some little perks for, you know, dropping that $5 a month. But if you want to get the article in its entirety, it'll be $5. But with that, all that being said, I'll put the link to this, what I'm showing y'all, in the chat. But this is like a scholarly paper. You got to read through it. This shit, you got to kind of read through the lines. But in this is the understanding and overstanding of AWAS, the holy guardian angel that summons through ritual. Another good book, another good resource. I'm giving y'all resources because I hate to see people acting like, you know, they ain't got it, but they ain't did not one ritual. Another good book, the Book of the Law. And while we here, since we here, another excellent resource will be Blue Magic, which for those who got the pre-order will be sent out to you September 8th, 2024. And there is a chapter on ritual. You know what I'm saying? So with all of that being said, this square is a challenge, but at the same time, a challenge just means that it's time to do work, right? So if you're ready to do work, if you're ready to do spiritual work and do some rituals to contact your holy guardian angel, this will be a good time. Another good movie to get while we're here that talks about what I'm talking about, but in movie form, is the movie Dark Song. A Dark Song. I can't watch the movie for you. I can't read the books for you, but I don't want y'all to look at me like I'm just this crazy person talking about do ritual, summon your guardian angel, be directed, you know, all of this particular stuff. And then I'm just like, you know, I can do it for you if you pay $100. Listen, it's no amount of money that you can pay. The only thing that you can pay is attention, right? Time, energy, and resources. That's what you need to pay towards your own spiritual study, right? If you have sexual energy, lower sexual energy, you know, you a freak in the sheets, right? That's fine. That just means you adept at spiritual ritual. Instead of utilizing that to, you know, have sex with somebody, utilize it to connect with yourself at a spiritual level. I'm like very sexual. I spent from the years 14 to 20, feel like I just was jacking off that whole entire time. But with all that being said, once I channeled that energy, I'm a natal sidereal Leo sun, right? So I could have ruined my life, like literally ruined my life by being such a horny fucking fuck, right? And now I'm in a space where I realize the error of my ways. And so now when I do ritual, it was always times where I just tried some shit out, just burnt some herbs, just tried to like, invent some shit. And when I did it, it worked. Right. So that's why I kept doing it. Cause shit, this shit worked. But I didn't overstand another good book, right? That gets into this shit. The Magician, forget who wrote it. Book. Philip Cooper, right? And The Magician, a study in effective magic. Guess what he talk about in this book? He talk about astrology. And look how much this book is costing. Goddamn. $1,100. That nigga Dreamwise is a fucking genius. I remember he bought a whole bunch of these books back in the day. He probably got some. I know that nigga made $1 million off them shits though. But anyways, you can get the PDF for free. You can get the PDF for free. And in it, he talking about, basic astrology, time, and that's where I kind of got the fundamental idea that time and space in reference to ritual is one and the same. That's like knowing when a store is open or closed. What would be the point of going to a store when it's closed? But then like, all right, I'm gonna go and get dressed and get ready to go to the store. It's closed, it's not open, right? That's the importance of time and energy. Shout out to Ra, one of the realest niggas in this shit. Appreciate the super chat, man. I'm just trying to do my best. I appreciate niggas that show support and show love, because that's where I'm at from my heart, to help those who, just trying to figure this shit out. And, I'm here to let niggas know he a OG in this shit. I'm a OG in this shit. We OGs in this shit. Like, put that out there. We just let you know this shit is real. And you can't fall off of your spiritual study. Because I know niggas like Ra, he done seen people come and go acting like, it was just this super fragilistic espialidocious experience. No, nigga, this is real work. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the super chat, brother. I really, really do. Right? So let's get this work. Let's do this spiritual work. Let's do these rituals tonight. Let's tune in and tap into our higher self. If you don't do it tonight, make sure you do it sometime during this week or during the waxing moon, man. I hope this video was good for you. I hope you learned something. If you did learn something, like the video, put a 1 in the chat as we sign out, man. Shout out to all the baby mamas and the baby daddies out there. I appreciate you for rocking with the Hood Mystic. We from the hood, but we still keeping it mystical, baby. But with that being said, man, this is this video. I got to get to the gym. Hopefully we'll come back on here with the initiates, right? Hopefully we come back on here with the initiates so we can have another show. I'm just here to just give my 2 cents and things of that nature. So, man, with all that being said, man, thank y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Appreciate y'all. Peace to the tribe. Peace to the collective. It's been real. Peace.
You are traveling with the Hood Mystic. Time to tap in now. You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.